Cola? Interesting title. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Here's a fun fact. I mean, you know what? It's time for peak every week. Come on now, it's Blue Lock, man. You know we had the pre-draw for chapter 326 of Peak Loco, which is known as Cola, which I still don't like. I don't get that. I don't. Like, it's not even like the brand. Like, it's like just general soda, cola, and like notably, like I'm racking my brain right now. But you know that's what the chat is for. So we won't put too much thought into the chapter title. But we're pre-drawn for cola because you know it's peak every week. And speaking of peak every week, she'll show up every week. But I need her. Where's your daddy, Batra? Because it's going to be me. You'll be Corona's brother. He needs one. I only have one, too. I couldn't give him a 7. But would that be the case? God. I'm not that young. But I may be young, but I'm ready to give you all my love. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm in a singing mood right now. But she is... Oh! It's so crazy, though. It is so genuinely insane. I feel like that has to be a mistake. Like, I know Batra gave the final assist, right? Batra, undeniably man of the match, right? Let's just get that first. Straight, clear, buttery, smooth. But it is crazy that we got to see her react to 2 goals and neither of them were her sons. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, she's probably going to be here. Do I say for, like, every match? Probably? Like, why would she not be? If she's here in the knockout stage, or, like, not in the knockout stage. If she's here in the group match, or the group stage, she's probably going to be there for every game. So we're definitely going to get a Bachimom reaction to one of the goals. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked. It really depends on how the chapter goes. If we even get a reaction to her, like, just, like, running up to her son and be like, look who finally managed to score this time in his man. But, like, I hope she gets to, like, talk with him a little bit. I know, Batra. It's weird. Like, what is Batra? He's, like, kind of the Deuteragonist? Kind of, but as a lot of y'all pointed out, Batra has not assisted Isagi on a singular goal since first selection. It's been 300-ish chapter, or like, I think someone like gave us, it's like 290 something. It's been actual, literal, possibly half a decade plus. No, it's literally more. It's more than half a decade since Batra last assisted Isagi, which is crazy to think about. So like, that's what I'm saying. Batra is like the Deuteragonist. So like, hopefully he gets some time with his mama. But like, this is the game for Batra to get time with his mama. 3 assists, 1 goal, 4 goals. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, Batra's game. Not gonna lie. Obviously Isagi, right? But still, I hope she gets some interaction. And it's not just because I think she's bad and I want more panels of her. But on top of that, it's so nice to see. I love Dad Sagi and Bob Sagi, bro. She's like... But speaking of Miss Yoichi. Actually, wait, no. Miss Isagi. I know he don't know how to handle all that. Okay, I'm not gonna go into this, but still, I'm very happy that those two are able to like, because of course, like, especially considering they're the reason, they are wholeheartedly the reason Isagi's even at all into soccer. They are the reason Japan stands a chance right now. In a way, they birthed them. Like, just like I birthed Corona, they literally birthed Isagi, the future of Japanese soccer. So like, I love that they're so hyped and happy. And what's even better is I bet, like, none of them know. Like, none of the people around them know, like, oh, wait, you're the parents of that guy? That's crazy, but that's beautiful. Let's see. Go! He's here! Yoichi Isagi! With a final goal from Japan's young ace, Blue Lock Japan seizes victory in an overwhelming fashion in the first round. And that, indeed, they did. A 4-0 is crazy. Did I let him out? I will let him out. Good day to you. I'm that guy with the pencil. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Of course, you know I must pre-draw it, but of course, I want to tell you something now that I've been let out in the cage for a little bit. It has the bottom of my heart. You see, my heart is right around here. It's right around in the center of my chest, right at the bottom of it. It hurts deeply For my people got nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. It was a sad state of affairs to witness, but I suppose it just must be the case. But even though it must be the case, I understand it deep in my core. It still hurts me. You do not understand the pain I feel in my core. It hurts me deeply. But of course, such is the fate of life. I thank you. He never lets me out of this cage, unless he's with his family. And he's rarely with his family. So I appreciate you being able to be with me, that guy with the pencil, the core of this man. But now I must fade away into obscurity. This is the last game we will probably see Nigeria, the last chapter. So this accent will probably never be born again for a very, 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 very long time. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Now back to the typical review with that guy with a pencil, as he would say. Goodbye. My son. My glorious, amazing, beautiful son. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him, my baby. Let's see. Yoichi Isagi. I will admit, though, with Bachira being so clearly man of the... Like, it makes sense, though. It makes sense, though. But, man, Bachira, he did put on a masterclass performance like none other. Like, and then notably, I think the main reason, like, I don't think we've seen something like this before is because, legally speaking, we've been stuck in the Neo Egotist League, where it would be impossible to get 4 goals, or like 3 assists, 1 goal. But like, golly, Bachira was cooking. But of course, Isagi Yoichi, he of course cooked as well. Let's see. That was some telepathy! You're the best, monster! Alright. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm unlike the common individual, right? If you ask me, hey, who's your favorite rival for a Mr. Isagi Yoichi desu ka? I'd look you directly in your eyes, walk right over the Borough and the Ren fans and be like, Kaiser. Ultimately, I still think that. You may be like, well, that's recency bias, pencil man. When was the last time you read the early series? Not that long ago. But regardless, it's gonna be my glorious, handsome, legendary, juicy, scrumptious King Kaiser. But if you were to ask me, who's my favorite friend to Isagi? Who's my favorite Isagi duo? Who's my favorite top-of-the-line kind of guy to work with the Mr. Yoichi and really see that good quality friendship dynamic? I'm kidding, it's Bachira. Come on now. But, like, legitimately, it is still... That's why it's so crazy to me that it's been so long. Like, I don't know, something that doesn't feel right. But I think it's because, like, despite Bachira not assisting Isagi in, like, 300 chapters... He still was, like, playing with, supporting, facility. Like, he still was doing stuff with Isagi, right? Like, the whole U20 game. And then, like, they had that little point. Obviously, they played against each other in the Egotist League. Then we had that Egotist 4 chapter. So, like, they still had interactions, which is why I think he ultimately still has my favorite, like, friendship dynamic with Isagi. But, man, I cannot get the fact that he has not assisted this man in, like, a literal half a decade out of my head. That's so crazy now I know that. Let's see. That was some telepathy. You're the best, monster. I knew you'd give me that pass. So they essentially hit... I didn't even think about that. They essentially hit the... Man. Okay. Yo, you're fried! You're fried! Hiyori's fried, bro. Hiyori's fried. It's actually a wrap. Because it just hit me. Essentially, Bachira and Isagi just did the reflex thing. You know, the whole thing. Well, maybe not legitimately. I guess because it didn't really have the same impact, the same motion, the same feel, if you know what I'm talking about. Someone did point out, technically Isagi did go into flow after having up Nigeria, so maybe he was meant to be in flow throughout that entire last minute of the game. But, in particular, the whole thing about Hiyori was that he would be the only one to be able to serve Isagi passes that he could perfectly predict and understand. Here's Bachira. Isagi knew he'd give him that pass. He didn't even have to look. Does that sound familiar to you? That sounded a little bit reflexive, which is crazy. Like, I guess legally speaking, though, it can't be fully reflexive because Isagi was still experimenting, but like it was reflexive in the sense that he didn't have to look, right? Neither him nor they weren't really looking at each other. I don't know. Hiyori may not be deep fried, but like at least his lower torso is battered and being dipped into hot oil, if you know what I'm talking about. Because not only did he do absolutely nothing this game, which admittedly is making Ubers, like, and don't get me wrong, even as a massive Hiyori hyper, even I knew Uber's Hiyori was kind of boosted a little bit. But he had his moment in PXG. He blocked a Rin shot. He saved Isagi from the worst aura loss in the entire series. He only did lose a good chunk of aura there. But like, man, Hiyori, he's got to do something. He's got to do something, dog. Because we have a Hiyori. We have Hiyori at home. Well, no, we really Hiyori is Butcher at home, and then we're getting the 5-star meal and say in 2 games. Think about that. And obviously, I'm not exactly sure how fast pace the last 2 games of the group stage are going to be. But like, France will probably be pretty fast paced. I can see it being the same length or even a little bit shorter than the Nigeria game, depending on how intense and quick that goes. Because this match was only 326, right? So we'll conclude this chapter. This is only like a 12-game match or 12-chapter match. So like, assuming France is the same length, and then England is like the same length. But let's say, because it's probably going to be an extreme diff, probably going to be like a little bit longer, right? So maybe England will be like 20 chapters. In less than a year's time, we're going to have Sei, who is literally just Hiyori plus, while Batra is already kind of Hiyori plus, because at least he scored and facilitated a lot more. So it's kind of rash for Hiyori fans, bro. I know a certain individual. Luke, I'm sorry, brother. A certain individual who's crying right now. It's only raps. Well, let me get back into it. I knew you'd give me that pass. Ha! I'm the only one who could have pulled off that egotistic stunt. Okay, but like, then why? I mean, I get it, because we need to plot Ori, dog. But like, Hiyori, you may actually be fried. It's over. If Hiyori actually does something from this point on, it's got to be like scoring. No, it can't be, because he's talking about he wants to create the greatest striker, dog. Hiyori. Like, I like Hiyori too. That's the main thing. I cloud on Hiyori a lot, but I like Hiyori, so I'm hoping Hiyori gets something, dog, because right now it's not looking good. Let's see. Good luck! I will take every panel of my son. Every single panel of my son adds another year to my life. I'm gonna be immortal by the end of this arc, dog. I'm telling you. Let's see. Galazzo! Oof! Same day. Wait, you two are so cool! Too cool. Dad can't read. I know, I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. Let's see. Same to you. How about it, folks? I, Jingo Raichi-sama, kept them at 0 with my defense. With my son, Raichi. And to be fair, Raichi paid for like, what, 50 minutes? But like, with my son, Raichi. With my son. You did that as a group effort. That was a double team. That was a wombo combo. Don't think you're built like that by yourself. Do not disavow or not include my baby boy. I birthed him. Let's see. Come on, Ray. That's all you gotta say. Oh, wait! The cereal bench warmers finally again. Hold on a second. I'm gonna clown on Rin for going, Brett, you did it. I mean, admittedly, low-key, Rin, it is, like, kind of crazy you got clip-farmed on by Obo Abana. You know who didn't get clip-farmed on by Obo Abana? Oh, actually, no, it's an even clip. Because he clipped on Obo Abana, and then Obo Abana clipped him back. So, like, never mind. Actually, that's an even. So, Rin's fine. And obviously, he did end up scoring by sitting on his side. So, like, Rin, the thing is, though, he's never playing against Sei. So, there will never be a point where I can solidly, like, hollow or a deficit Rin. It's just never going to happen. Rin is going to be like the one character who like will just never be fraudulent. There's no point where I can point at Rin and be like, oh, he's a fraud. And maybe like, oh, well, what about the time where he sold all the PXG by not scoring? That's a flex. He gained so much ore that the ore loss was negated. Like he still ended up in an ore surplus by flexing on them that hard. Like it's real bad. He had the 2 strongest talented learners in the series outside of Snuffy himself being like, oh yeah, we need to team up to be like. He has actual aura overflow. He could lend other characters aura and still be in a surplus. Rin is looking like a prime economy right now. If you have Rin stocks, I know you're eating well. You're eating steak and lobster. It's too buttery and too juicy. You have fresh baked potato on that. You are eating well every single night, day, anything. Because Rin stocks, they never go down. They just keep rising. What an annoying, foolish game. Borrow. I mean, I have hopes for you, gang, but you weren't. I'll give it this. Though. Same thing to Shido, right? Let's see. But I gotta say, it sure turned me on. We need to open a discourse. Do we have to ban this man? We need to open a Discord. But regardless, what I'll say for both of these two, right? Because I could make my jokes. I know a certain individual's very, very mad that Bro didn't get to touch the pitch this first game. But, very specifically, I will give it a pass because they clearly weren't needed, right? Like, unfortunately, both Baro and Shido kind of serve like the thing with Baro though, I'd say Baro more than Shido. You could build the Japan Blue Lock 11 around Baro, right? As like the core strike. Like, you could do that. You could do an Ubers 2.0 pretty easily, right? You could even have other strikers there facilitating for him. In fact, like I mentioned, if you go all the way back to the Ubers game, one of my main things with Baro and the Ubers team structure is like, I think he actually would have benefited from having a second striker on the team. Like, so he could take the whole lead role, but then he could also go into like the side role. Like, I think it's better to have 2 DPS and not 1. So like Baro can definitely still be built around, but very specifically for this game, it's like he just wasn't needed. He very specifically, especially in the general role of the Blue Lock U20, feeds a more like Joker-esque role, like a last resort wild card kind of thing if things are going bad. I could see Baro actually low-key going crazy in France. Maybe. It really depends on how like the base team structure starts there. Baro could be included in the base team structure there too. Who knows what happens. I'm assuming they're going to go like a giga hyper offense against France. I think if Ego's going to bet anything, it's going to be like, you just need to score. You're like, none of you can stop. Look, none of you got fast enough. I can put all the speedsters on the pitch at once. It's not going to work. So ultimately, y'all just need to score like crazy. So he may put Baro, he may put Shido, he may put Rin, he may put Isai, he may just put all of them and just be like, go. Go and score as many times as possible. But at the same time, Baro just by his nature, narratively, and even like just how he plays, works better against a team that's not Nigeria that can be taken down by fundamentals. And Shido was in the same case, right? Like ultimately he was also used that way narratively as like a last resort kind of thing that you pull out if you need something unexpected and crazy. But like, they didn't really need anything unexpected and crazy against Nigeria. So these two aren't on fraud watch. They're on, oh no, their narrative purpose. I get another year of my life. But I saw my son. But essentially, these two are like, they fill their narrative role so well that they kind of couldn't be allowed to be on the pitch this game. That sounds crazy. That does actually sound the same. Being like, they're actually too good at what they do to the point where like I don't think putting them on the pitch would have been a good idea. But at the same time, that's kind of how it is. They aren't on fraud watch. I bet I can already hear the Baro and Shido slander right now. But like, they're fine. They weren't needed in this game. So they're okay. Presumably, if they don't get some time to shine in France, I do think both of them realistically should. I do want to see the Charles and Shido matchup. And Baro, just like actually getting to see him play against Loki would be interesting at all. Because that never happened. And even off screen in the Neo Aegis League arc. But very specifically, these two getting on the pitch there. If not there, it's definitely England. England's definitely going to require some sort of wild card thing. Like I highly doubt neither of these two are playing for the entirety of the group stage. That's not feasible. Unfortunately, it's not feasible. Not even unfortunately. I do want to see these two characters at the pitch. Let's see. Shark! Yo, Shark! I had another year of my life. That's my baby! Let's. Hey, Sagi. Oh. Whoa! Aiku, put him away! Yo. A friend of mine made a joke that, Aiku is stacked. And I was like, he ain't that stacked. Clearly he is. He's got to put him away. He has to wrap him up. But why'd you take the shirt off? I know the game is over, dog. But let me throw a yellow card at you. But jeez, look at them abs. Bro. I need a cut badly. Yeah, that man's built. We'll see. That was a crazy new technique you tried out. How much of that did you plan? I mean, like, I knew you mean that. Like, at least he planned the pass, but maybe not the new move. Let's see. Oh, none of it. Okay, so in that case, so maybe Hiyori does still have, like, technical roles there. Because if he planned none of it, then technically that isn't reflex. I feel like, maybe I'm confusing, like, reflex and its terminology in this case, right? Because when you think of reflex, you think of, like, two plays that overlap and overline, very specifically because both players are, like, built for it. And, like, they have the minds that, like, sync up in that perfect moment to the point they don't look at each other. But I think I may be conflating reflex with the idea of, like, oh, you're doing it by reflex. Obviously, if you saw you play none of that, that's not reflex. That's creativity on the fly. So maybe it's not reflex. Because him planning none of it is kind of crazy. I mean, like, presumably he planned the voucher pass, though, let's say. None of it. That last shot was a total ad-lib. That shot was a total ad-lib. Just like your abs right now, bro. Why are they popping like this? I was expecting Onazi to have an awakening, but I really had no idea until that moment that he'd make a shot after that trap. Which is crazy. That's great. He was like, we ball. But then again, I understand. This is gonna sound so dumb. I understand why Isagi was essentially EXP farming. Like, for all intents and purposes, Nigeria wasn't a threat, but he might as well have made the match worth something, right? And by forcing out the awakening, he got to essentially test blue lock limits and also clearly add to his bag, right? Like that it's something where, like, you know what you're gonna get out of something at base, but you're like, let me just get a little bit more. Like why? It's like, have you ever gone to a buffet and you like you have your standard, you have your regular, but then you see something there that you ain't seen before, and you're like, let me just throw it on the plate. Plate's already full. It's bursting. If you couldn't tell, like, the plate's already full. It's bursting. But then you see that new side, that new main that you ain't never seen before, so you just slap it on top. That's essentially what he was doing by forcing the awakening. He was at EXP/tech farming. He wanted to see what they could do, knowing that ultimately whatever they did awaken to would just end up feeding him and Blue Lock more. So he was cooking. Let's see. They make a shot for that trap. The moment you stopped him, I was inspired to try making my own version of that shot. That's crazy. But you know what? I'll give this, right? Because I know I was going to make a joke about Rayo fans. But technically, Rayo could have probably done it too. He just wasn't in the right position, right? Because we've seen Rayo rip things pretty much immediately too. Well, actually, now I think about it, not necessarily immediately. Have we ever seen like a straight rip? Like, we saw him subconsciously awaken that division. But like, this is why, despite a lot of people having Rayo's copy as number one, and I think ultimately, like, probably on a diversity front, copy still is number one as a weapon. I think Isagi's adaptability still technically is either on the same tier or just slightly below or slightly above. Mainly because it's that instantaneous, like, okay, here's what's happening. Here's how something that happened, and I'm going to immediately take that and add it to my own bag. And notably, he didn't just copy it. I think that's the important thing to know. And they've even pointed this out last chapter. Isagi didn't just copy Onazi's trap into shot style. He modified it for a ground variation of it. Rayo, I don't think could realistically do that, right? Like, the thing with copy is that he needs to use it in the exact same way. That's why it's called a copy. Meanwhile, Isagi is like, it's like he copies the original text, pastes it, and then edits what the text says, essentially. And I think that's a little bit better than copying. Because ultimately, as long as you can guess around Rayo, right? Like, ultimately, Rayo's hardest counter is another Metavision user who, like, knows Rayo's bag and is like, okay, there are only certain copies he would use in this scenario. Let me work around those. Which is still very dangerous, right? Like, Rayo could hit you with, like, 3 different shots all at the same time. You don't know what's happening until it happens. But still, Isagi could hit you with a couple different shots, a 50-50, and also rip a shot he just saw and make a new version on top of that. That feels a little bit more dangerous to me. But I still understand why Rayo's copy is, like, considered the number one weapon generally. What's it? This freaking guy. His imagination and inspiration speed are on another level than before. Which is crazy. Just crazy considering Aiku just fought the guy, but of course they did have training. Gotcha. His egotism could devour Ego's entire plan. We really are. I feel like we really are like setting up for a possible Ego whip. Like we low key. It feels like we are kind of setting this man up to get like not like that obviously, but like them losing the U20 World Cup and then Ego being lost with that. It's not a 0 anymore. It really, like, they could lose and Ego could be fired. And then, obviously, you could tell Boros how to hire him back once you realize it's not going to go the way he wants. But, like, that's the thing. I don't know. Especially, this is the first game, yo. We got at bare minimum, what? Like, 6 more matches? I may be lowballing it, too. Like, maybe, like, 6 or 8 more matches? Like, we're in it for the long haul, but in the first game, we're talking about Isagi transcending Ego and devouring his entire plan. Either something's gonna go wrong for Isagi, or Ego may just, like, get fired. We'll take. I got to test it thanks to you. Thanks, Captain. Oh, see, Isagi, see, once the game's over, the demon goes away. We'll take. Thanks, Captain. I do appreciate Isagi being like, yeah, dude, thanks. Like ultimately he admits, yeah, I couldn't stop him on my own. I need you to step up there too, or else I would have been fried. We'll take. Darn it, Bello, you're. Then again, whoa, I put him away. He's not coming back out. But all of my people were bums too, man. This hurts. Let's see. Darn it. I had so much hope that at least one of you would score. One of you. Let's see. Utterly shut out. We were totally obliterated. On the world stage. Kings of Africa. How can you do my entire continent like this? My whole continent. My whole continent, bro. My whole continent. Loki, I need you to go crazy. If only for the people of a darker complexion. Please, Loki, please. Let's see. We were totally obliterated. Kuso, man. Big rips, Kuso. Let's see. They devoured all of it. You know, even, but like, despite being a person who has, like, context for Blue Lock, even sometimes just reading Blue Lock lines, for some reason, just takes me out of the context of me. Like, what is all of it? What do they devour? What do they devour? It's like, our fire, my ego, Onazi's evolution. He drew out that awakening. It made it seem like he was gathering data for the Japanese team. I mean, like, he was, though. Like, Kusa, you're almost there. Let's see. But in the end, all of it was exploited to help him grow. I mean, he still is part of the Japanese. Like, he was admittedly, like, data farming you guys, which is so crazy. But at the same time, y'all were kind of... They weren't bums, though. They weren't bums, right? One thing I'll give. They kept it to a 4-0. You're like, you can go back. Luckily enough, this is recent. Usually when I say you can go back, like, I'm talking like go back like 2-3 years ago when the audio quality was worse, a whole bunch of worse. But like you can go back like the start of this game. I was thinking, or even before this game, I was thinking, oh, the score's gonna be like way high. I was thinking like 5, 6 maybe. Like I was really thinking high numbers. But like, they kept it to a 4-0, so they aren't like giga buns. Because despite Blue Lock being super crazy evolved with everyone being able to score, like only 4 people scored, and there was not a single double goal. I was really betting on like an Isagi double goal or a Rin double goal or even a Batra double goal after he scored the first one. Not a single double goal either. So realistically, Nigeria still wasn't like buns. These aren't that. Y'all just really weren't comp though. So of course you were data farm, bro. Let's say exploited to help him grow. How stoic and nonchalant can one dreadhead be? He's out of his mind. Well, in fact, I think it's kind of well, I get the idea of, like, perceiving that greed. That, like, the idea that you would be used as nothing but a data point. Or like, how do I put this? I think in a lot of ways in life, we are each other's stepping stones, right? Like, ultimately, if I were to, like, look back and, like, try to count all the different people that have inspired at least a portion of me or portions of previous versions of me that have led to the current me, it would be too many, right? Like, obviously, I have my family, and then friends, and then acquaintances, and then people I've never met, old content creators I used to watch, whose names I may not even remember anymore. Like, legit, there's so many different individuals that have led up to me being me, the me in this current moment who's recording this video. But at the same time, I, like, with rare exception, I never remember going to somebody and then explicitly being like, I'm going to use you to make me better. There were some, like academically and physically, where I'm like, I am going to use you. You will not be better than me. And sometimes it failed, sometimes it didn't. Like, in certain ways, and I think about it, in both, actually, sometimes it failed, sometimes it didn't. Academically, there were like 3. There was 3 people that were, but then again, I kind of knew they were better than me. I never said it, but to one of them I did say, like, I'm gonna catch up to you, I'm gonna pass you. Never did. But there were other academic people who were in league with me who was like, I'm gonna be better than you. And I used them specifically as motivation. I took their style, their understanding. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use that to better myself. And I told them that. Because ultimately it made them fire up. And, you know, I believe that every consistent competition is better for evolution and growth. Same thing for physics. I'm thinking back to the track days where, like, I had rivals. Many of which I surpassed. 3 of which I never did. I was always the 4th fastest on the team. I never got to 1st. But, with it being the case, there is that idea of not necessarily telling people that. Like, think about how many people you've encountered in your life that have ultimately helped develop you into who you are. You never told them that you are gonna data farm them. And to be fair, Isagi didn't do that either. But it's so clear that Kuso knows he's been data farmed. I think that's the horrifying aspect to it. He's out of his mind, and it's like doing that to somebody, to other living people with full sentience, and being like, and especially on the stage that they're on, right? On the world stage, he's like, I'm going to data farm you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, that would have me thinking that a certain someone's out of his mind too. So I don't blame Kuso. Let's see. Yoichi Sagi is a horrifying soccer machine. Horrifying in the sense of those he plays against, but I think, like, in a weird way, seeing Isagi is probably, like, the most inspiring thing ever. Like, straight start from the bottom now we hear. And once again, I think a big important thing to remember about Isagi, though it's one of the most hilarious things that always gets brought up, he's a regular dude. He has, like, certain godlike aptitudes, right? Like, he still has genius level traits, right? Like, his perception is still dumb stupid. His brain is dumb stupid and special. But, in terms of, like, his physical build, what he looks like, obviously he's a lot stronger just from Blue Lock training. But he's what, 5'9"? He's like, I think maybe, I'm not sure what the average height in Japan is specifically, but I think in terms of like American average height, I think he's like an inch taller than the average guy. He's probably like a $160, $170. I'm not gonna look up his stats right now because once again, I'm assuming they're probably outdated. But that's the thing, right? He's not the craziest built player out there. He's not an Obuobana. He's not a Rin. He's not a Boro. He's not a Shido. He's not any of these like super Goliath. Like you look at him, you're like, oh, okay, someone's built like that. Like you don't walk down the street, see a guy built like Chris Hemsworth, and be like, oh yeah, that's a regular dude. But you could walk past Isagi on the street and be like, regular dude. You don't even think about it. But he is in a way horrifying because he's like that. He has such a deep passion, understanding, and want, and hunger for his own development. He has such a deep curiosity of himself. And that it leads to moments like this where it could be, in a way, considered horrifying. It's like seeing someone so convinced. It's fully enough. It reminds me of another manga that I love, that I won't spoil. But there is another character. They aren't the main character. And if you know, you know. It's a 4-letter, the main first word of the manga is a 4-letter word. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? I can say it. The one character is technically a spoiler. Another character isn't. So Sinbad from Magi is a character who's very, very self-actualized. He's like, I am who I am, and I will be who I am forever that I am. And Isagi's like that in a similar way. But once again, Sinbad is the exception. You look at Sinbad from Magi, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy's him. You look at Isagi, and it's like, oh, he's a man who, if anything, has broken free of what one would assume of him, and that is what makes him all the more terrifying. And I respect that. Let's see. Yeah, Kuso. He is horrifying. That's crazy. You have the strongest striker in Blue Lock calling you the Demon King, and you have other people from other nations calling you horrifying. He's a monster, y'all. Let's see. Huh? He's the most horrifying egotist that we've met in our tiny world. It's crazy that they're calling all of Africa a tiny world. Oh, that hurts my heart. But then again, like, I mean, they are Nigeria. And hey, as a Nigerian, I'm more than happy for us to be the kings of Africa. But like at the same time, man, the whole continent. Let's see. Onazi. But he smashed apart that tiny world for us. He's the ultimate soccer player. I wonder, you know what? Because they will, like, they're going to lose. But they will have to play France. If we, like I said, like the other me said a while ago, I ultimately don't think we're going to see the Nigerian team again. Like, not for an extended period of time. But with them saying stuff like this, with them being horrified of Isagi in particular, I want to see what happens when they get blown out by Loki. Like, that's what's going on. Like, unless Loki pulls anyway, he just doesn't play and, like, lets whoever else curb stomp them. Because going back to the idea that Isagi is just a regular guy for the most part, I want to see the reactions to him. Because realistically, think about it. Outside, like, because Baro and Shido were on the bench the entire game, they didn't really see a genius, did they? Like Bachira technically genius, right? And Rin also a monstrous genius. But like, I don't know. I feel like Rin didn't really have that same like 24/7 destroy. Like he didn't, like PXG Rin was not Nigeria game Rin, right? Despite Nigeria game Rin obviously being strong because of the training, like it just didn't hit the same. I want them to feel something that's like truly overpowering. Isagi was overpowering specifically through like a weird well, not weird, but like a facilitation structure. We're gonna move this way, that way kind of way. I want to see how they react to like something that feels divine, like Loki's gods. Like I want to see that. Will we get it? I doubt it. But I want to see it because they're already calling him the ultimate soccer player. When realistically, I don't think Isagi is that yet. He's on his way. But I feel like they still have seen nothing. This is still just a remnant of their tiny world in a way, which I think is cool. What's it? Thank you, Yoichi Isagi. I'm glad I got to meet you here. You know what? The one thing I do... Oh, never mind. He immediately smiled. But I do like how none of the other ones are like, gang, what? You're thanking him? But I do like that, right? Ultimately, I think a lot of the more... How do I put this? You don't realize how much a bad or, like, losing experience will help you until later. I've noticed that a lot, especially as I've gotten older and, like, reflected more and more in the earlier parts of my life where things went wrong or backwards in certain ways because of my own choices or sometimes things beyond my control. I look back and I'm like, in the moment, I hated it. And I didn't like it. And it probably looked like them, if not worse. But at the same time, it is Onazi's kind of a future version of me in many ways, where I look back on certain events, I'm like, huh, yeah. If I didn't have that loss, if this didn't happen, if I didn't have the reason for development, I wouldn't be who I am now. And I think that's very important. Ultimately, while obviously a life of nothing but up, high success is good, and I'm never saying if you have that, more power to you. That's a good thing. But I think your curve can grow ever steeper. Like, your rises can feel ever sharper once you've had a dip. And I think this is the dip for Nigeria. Will they ever succeed in this narrative? No. They'll never be a threat, ever. But, still, in the context of, like, real life. Let's see. Hey, did you make a nice memory? Shut up. This won't end as a memory. I'm gonna surpass you someday. That's my boy! I spoke of him in your pit! Ah, my God! Oh, that's why it's called... Sorry, so many... Sorry, Nazi. You're relevant now. What was it talking about? Bad memories, good dreams, experiences, sharp speed. Man, forget all that! That's my glorious, handsome, legendary, juicy, scrumptious, amazing, legendary, handsome, I'm repeating words, Kaiser. That's my boy. Well, let's see. Let me actually let me wrap up Onazi. We'll never see him again after this. Let's see. I'm gonna surpass you someday. No, you aren't. Let's see. Just you wait, Yoichi Isagi. That's the egotistical curiosity I want to see. Let's meet again. Do you think they will? I don't think they will. I mean, it really yeah. But, like, would it even make sense to match up with them again in, like, a World Cup arc? Blue gonna be so much like it wouldn't. It's not gonna work. Like, I don't think so. I don't think we're ever seeing Nigeria again. I think that they are. And that's a big thing with, like, a lot of the teams. Some teams are kind of like guaranteed to show up again. Speaking of teams, not guaranteed to show up again. Like Kaiser himself, he's presumably going to show up again. But what is he doing? What are you doing, Kaiser? But he's kind of guaranteed to show up again, right? Like, we'll see him there. We may see him later on this arc. Will he fight Germany in this arc? It's kind of like a 50-50 to me. I'm not sure if we're going to fight Germany. I think we kind of have to because, like, they're an actual relevant team. But at the same time, I'm not sure. We'll see if we actually get to fight Germany. But, particularly, like, I could see Kaiser coming back. I could see, even if Loki, like, loses somehow in this arc, like, he's going to come back. Like, there are certain characters who I'm confident will return. Nigeria, they're just not one of them. I mean, like, now at this point, though, they are an actual established team somewhat. So, like, maybe we see them in, like, an actual World Cup arc. I don't know. It'd be interesting. But let's see. Hold on, I need to stretch it out. U20 German team hotel. Okay, so they're in a hotel. Let's see. A passionate fist bump from both teams' aces. The Japanese team has made an incredible start. I can't read this. I'm sorry. The Japanese team has made an incredible start with this first round sweep. Crack, snaps. He's squeezing the... Whoa! Okay, that's a lot. But then again, look at that man's abs, bro. Like, clearly the cola does not matter. He's putting it away and he's burning it off of me. Look at the vent. I can't. It was push day this morning. My veins were looking at Mac. I gotta start taking, like, actual, like, pump pics. I don't take pump. I only, like, take pics, like, well after the fact when I forget. But I gotta take actual pump pics. I swear, I have veins. I swear. In fact, in the right lighting, some of them pop up right now. And I do, like, notably, my hands even got their veins back as long as they're, like, somewhat active. So, like, I'll take my veins, but, like, look at the veins, boy. Look at the abs. Kevin Cullen. Okay, interesting. But don't worry, he been drinking. But quit smiling, Yoichi. What, you hating? What's wrong, Big Kai? Huh? Why you ain't training right now? Oh, that's nice. Yes. Well, it looks like a more restored version. That may be like a reference to his own soccer ball. But why you mad, guys? Why you mad? Let's see. I'm so angry. I can't even drink my cola. What? This is why he's my favorite rival, though. Like, this is why he's my favorite rival. I need to see an Isagi response. The thing is, though, Isagi would not be like this. But I want to see an Isagi response to Kaiser sweeping another team. But I love it. Notably, a little itty bit of me was scared that we're never going to get, like, Kaiser again in the same narrative role. And, like, we won't. We're probably never going to see Kaiser and Isagi actually play together again. They're probably always going to be eternal enemies from this point on. Unless we do get, like, a club arc and then Isagi somehow gets transferred to Real, because that's where Kaiser got the offer from. It's like, like, I don't know. Like, it just wouldn't. I don't think we're gonna see it. So unfortunately, I don't think we're ever really gonna see the Kaisagi duo ever again. But I was worried that Kaiser wouldn't even really get to like acknowledge or develop his rivalry with Isagi anymore, except for like maybe like one game in the far future. But very specifically, we are seeing him still be very deeply invested in Isagi to the point where he's crushing soda cans in his hands and drinking them. Like, he didn't even open this one. He just crushed it and drank from it like that, which he presumably did with every previous cola too. So he's still very deeply passionate, and I'm more than happy to see him. You know, I love Kaiser. Kaiser is literally like my other favorite character. So far, no other characters really have been able to grab me like Kaiser and Isagi have. Let's see. Oh! Wow, look! Why is he so cute? Why is he so baby, bro? Wait, hold on. Let me zoom. Look at him! Look, he actually kind of looks like my son there. Look at... Somewhere in Tokyo. Oh, so he's nowhere near the strat. Which makes sense, right? He's only showing up if required. But he's not trading either, but he's chilling. Mr. Hiyori Prime here. Not that we have Hiyori at home. We have Hiyori at the 5-star restaurant here. You could have won Edo. You fiends. I mean, like... He's not wrong. Like, they should have. They could, like, if they were better, they could have won 8-0. They could have won 12-0. Like, really, Nigeria shouldn't have been calm. That's the thing I pointed out earlier, right? Like, Nigeria didn't actually keep them down kind of low for what you would think a post-train Blue Lock would have been. But even says, like, he's still not impressed. But I guess that's the thing, right? Japan. Oh. And then I see Bunny here. So are we just showing off a bunch of, we're going to get another new Gen 111? Because we're showing off. I mean, we're 3 for now, but who knows? This seems to be an interesting back half of the chapter. Let's see. But like, ultimately, can Sei Itoshi live up to the hype? He has to. I'm afraid Kaneshiro Sensei has done too much narrative glaze for Sei. That, like, if he doesn't live up to the hype, it's gonna. I'm not going to say it's, like, going to be a detriment to the narrative or anything like that, but it's going to feel so awkward. Like, when Sei hits the pitch, in the same way that Nigeria was clearly a showcase match for Blue Lock, a Sei plus Blue Lock, they better score in, like, the first 5 minutes. like, they better score immediately, somehow. I don't care how crazy or dumb or stupid. Like, the second Sei gets on the pitch, and is actually cooking, he needs to cook immediately. Like, I need to see an assist from him immediately. He has to be man of the match for, like, he needs to go crazy for how much he's talking. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm perfectly fine with the idea that Sei is one of those characters who, like, he's very much like, I haven't read One Piece, but he's very much like a crocodile who, like, introduced super duper early on, strangely strong later into the narrative, right? Like it's just one of those things. But notably, he's less strange than Crocodile because he's been hyped up the entire time. Ujin will love and all that stuff. But, like, he's got a lot of aura deficit to work off from losing the U20 match, right? He's got a lot of upplay to do. I know his team was buns, but, like, he better go crazy for how much he's talking. Let's see. Huh? That happy kid from before. Oh. So you're one of us too. I'm assuming he doesn't mean that in the case of being a World Gen 11, but... Oh, wait, Spanish U20 Spanish team hotel. So he's just somewhere in Tokyo. Interesting. He's not staying with his parents, though. I mean, it makes sense. He's a full-grown man at this point. I do believe. I think Sei's like 18, 19. But... So yeah, he's in a hotel as well. So every team is already here. Because yeah, it makes sense. They have to play their matches. Let's see. Oh, so you're one of us too. So, but he means like one of us is in like a soccer player, and that is interesting. So not Luna. I don't know why I keep calling this guy Luna. We haven't seen Luna in forever. I mean, he was in episode Nagi kind of sort of recently, but that was like months ago anyway. I don't know why I keep calling Bunny Luna, but Bunny. He's interested now that he knows that that happy kid from before, as he says, is one of them. So I do wonder how he's going to react to Isagi now that he meets him on the pitch. Like, that is is he scarred? I'm just noticing. Does Bunny have scars on him? Bunny, what'd you go through, dog? Where'd you come from? What's your tragic backstory? I'm seeing scars all over him. There's a scar on his arm here, scar on his arm. Did I not notice these before? I mean, he did have the scar on his face the entire time, but I didn't realize he was so marked up. Bunny, what happened to you, dog? I need your tragic backstory. Stat! Let's see. I'm interested to see how they interact on the field, though, once they finally meet. Though, presumably, they're not going to meet for, like, 100 chapters. Like maybe I'm highballing. It really depends on when they fight Spain. But, like, there's no way we open the elimination stage with Spain. Like, we're probably going to get another jobber team then, because once again, we're going to be introducing Sei and possibly Nagi. Once again, it's going to be weird. But, like, I do I do wonder when we're gonna, like, it can't be anytime soon. We still have the entire France match. We still have the entire England match. Probably gonna get a little interlude between the actual world stage so we can see, like, what the other team, specifically, like, Kaiser and Germany's doing. And then, like, oh. Like, I'm not sure what the filler teams are gonna be, but, like, we're not facing Spain until, like, the semifinals. Right? Like, there's no way we're actually gonna see these two interact for a while. So Bunny's gonna be, like, an in and out character. I'm very interested to see how he's gonna work out. Let's see. Oh! Ow! Speak of the position shall appear. Hey, Charles. Let's see. Hey, Loki. What do you think of Japan's level? Oh, so they were watching the game too, but looks like they're at, yeah, U20 French team blew up training field. So they're actually there. They're actually chilling there. Interesting. All right. Oh. Loki's a new gen. I guess, huh? But I guess he's still, That's really interesting. He's a new general. He counts as a new General 11? I mean, it makes it like he's obviously part, but, why did that never click for me? Something about Loki being a new General 11 doesn't feel right. I think it's just because he was, like, put on the same league as the Masters. But then again, Bunny also plays for the main team, right? So I guess technically Loki set the standard of, like, being different, but I guess he wasn't too different. A new General 11 member also being, like, up there. All right. Interesting, though. Let's see. Wait, I forget what my Loki was his. Small fry with nothing but passion and topicality. Interesting, though. So he's in Reflex right now. Possibly, maybe, not Flow, but he's in Reflex right now. He's training in as hard as he can, though. But hey, I give him credit. You know, he is seemingly top 1 of the new Gen World 11. Like, once again, if he was able to be one of the masters of the World 5, or no, one of the masters of the new Egotist League, and on top of that, he was Brain. Right, he was part of the World 5, right? He was essentially like the pseudo head of the World 5. Clearly, I think he is still meant to be like a tier above, like even Bunny and Kaiser and say, like, it just makes sense for him to be. At the same time, who knows? Like I almost feel like we're dragging him down a level by saying he's a new Gen World 11. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily contradict anything, and he fits into the archetype. So that's interesting. So how many new Gen World 11 members do we have? We have Loki, Kaiser, Lorenzo, Sei. So now we know 4 new General 11 members. That's interesting, though, because 2 of them are strikers. I mean, I guess you could maybe say one's a forward, one's were like, I'm not sure how soccer positions work. But I think the common belief in the new General 11 is that, like, there's going to be one for each position. Like, we're going to get a new Gen 11 goalkeeper, we're going to get a new Gen 11. Like, we already had a new Gen 11 midfielder in Sei. But there could be, like, multiple. Like, obviously, Lorenzo's a center back, so, like, he's a defender. So, like, we had offense, we had midfield, we had defense. So I guess, like, the only next step would have been to introduce another one. Like, unless you're going to do the goalie immediately. But interesting. Let's see. Oh, but it actually is interesting that even Loki, he says, he's obviously, like, still a little bit mad at Isagi, presumably. Well, he's, like, topicality. He admits that right now they are the hot topic, you know, even more than he himself. I wonder if he feels a certain type of way about that. We haven't really, like, Loki also wants to just be the strongest, but I wonder what his reasoning for wanting to be the strongest is. Is it for the fame, maybe? I don't know, because, like, notably, Isagi wants to be the number 1 striker in the world for, like, the love of the game and the recognition of it all, right? Like, just being the pinnacle. But, like, I wonder if Loki, like, clearly he seems to that same degree to somewhat, but I wonder how much the topicality matters to him, because it's interesting that he brings that up here. Let's see, Loki, though. You, just like me, for real, bro. Your line is clean, but why you got the Vegeta going on? I did never realize that. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a strong Vegeta, too. Like, don't get me wrong, I have an Eddie as well. And also, I just need a cut, but I'm trying to grow the side of the beard a little bit before I get this shaped up. You know what I'm talking about. But that'll be the case. They got a strong Vegeta. But they've got guys like Shido. I can't wait to fight against him. We're playing Japan in round 2, right? Right. Well, on a personal level, I want to face Yoichi. Yeah, there it is. And that I do respect, right? Ultimately. But then again, Chris Prince also admitted that same thing after facing Isagi. He's like, I need to run my fate against him one more. And obviously Loki being closer in age to Isagi. In fact, he's only, I think they're the same age, right? I think Loki's 17, Isagi's 17. I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna look up their stats. I'm gonna still be stubborn about that. But I think they're literally like the same age. But Loki was like levels above Isagi. So I'm interested to see how this match goes. Like, presumably Loki's probably just gonna try and speed blitz Isagi over and over again. So we'll have to see how Isagi deals with that. Let's see. On a personal level, I want to face Yoichi Isagi again and ask whether he still thinks I'm full of myself just because I happen to be born fast. But you know what? I get that, right? To some degree. Obviously, Loki is a genius. At least that's why he's been archetyped. Oh! I'm sorry, I just saw another New Gen World 11. So we now have 5. Oh, France has 2? What? All right, but sorry. I'm leading ahead. Very specifically, for this statement here, right? I'm assuming the reason this sticks with Loki so much isn't just because, well, 1, his team lost. It's 2, because even Loki still seems like a hard worker. He's very much like Barrow in that sense, right? Where Barrow, despite being a genius, is still very, very clearly intensive with his training, his focus, and his determination. Like, he's not just coasting off his base stats. And it's clearly the same thing for Loki, right? Like, speaking of, so I talked earlier academically. I can't really think of, I don't actually know too much about the guys who were faster than me, I think about, like, from, like, a personal standpoint. But for the people who I knew were, like, extremely intelligent, like, perfect scores on literally everything, super high, like, literal over 4.0 GPAs, top of the line students. I knew for a fact, because I knew them both personally, the 2 top ones were, like, I never even dared to say, yeah, like, I'm going to surpass you. I knew my place to some degree. They had told me they never liked it when they were just called smart. Even if they were smart. Like even if things came easy to them, they never liked the idea that they were just like, oh, well, everything must be so easy for you, because they spent hours upon hours, like, honing their craft, like, they were already given a diamond tool, but they spent hours upon hours sharpening it over and over and over again. They didn't just get perfect scores and everything because it was just, oh, so easy, automatic. No. They also put in the time and effort to the point where they couldn't be questioned on anything. And being insulted, and essentially just calling them, oh, they're naturally smart, you can't compete with them because they're just different. It insulted them in a way, because they're like, that undermines my effort, all the time and effort I put into refining myself. It's disrespectful, right? And not disrespectful like in an intentional way. It's unintentionally disrespectful. It's kind of like, and notably, I feel differently about this because I just don't think I'm that good of an artist. But from an artist's perspective, whenever someone says, like, oh, you're so talented with what you do in terms of your art, I take the compliment. But also, I'm not actually. Like, I know talented artists, but even then, the most talented artists I know would still sit down and tell you, I've been doing this for years. I've been dedicating myself to the bit. You know how many sketchbooks I own that are full of horrific drawings? Or how many times I failed the same drawing over? Like, it's a matter of, like, talent is something innate. It almost disregards or overrides the years upon years upon years upon years upon years upon years upon years of dedication and hard work. And I'm just feeling that Loki feels that way. Like, ultimately, he's a genius. He knows he's built like that. But he's not just full of himself because he was born this way. He's full of himself because he was born this way, and then he went even further. He's proven himself in many ways, shapes, and forms. A good artist wasn't just a good artist because they picked up a pen or a paper, pen and paper or paintbrush one day and they just went crazy, and then that was it. They were the best peak they were. They were good to start with, and then they went up and up and up and up. For me on an artistic front, I was bad to start with. I got slightly higher, and then slightly higher, and then slightly higher. And I'm like, I'd say like probably if I lock in, I'm probably like a D-ish tier artist. The scores go as low as F, mind you. I'm still not that good with the sauce just yet. Give me time, let me cook. But that's what I'm assuming Loki feels here. It's the idea that he's almost insulted by how he's saying that you're nothing except your speed that you were born with, rather than you are nothing but your speed, which you were born with and then worked very hard for. Let's see. Oh, is this Yoichi Isagi guy really that interesting, Loki? How does he look to you, Hugo? So another new. So we have 5. We have Loki. We have Kaiser. We have Sei. We have wait no. Do we have 6? Is that hold on? Am I stupid? Kaiser, Bunny, Sei, Loki, Hugo, and Lorenzo. We actually have 6. We actually have 6 New Gen World 11. So we only have 5 left. Right? Is my math? Am I ooping? No, because we have the 2 for France. Then we have Lorenzo. And then we have Bunny, Sei, and Kaiser. Huh? So we already have 6. It's kind of crazy. All right. But I think this also, I remember there's a theory going around, like the flags that were shown, like representing New Gen World 11 members. That's a theory shot. Because I think we have 2 France reps. All right. That's a wrap. All right. Let's see. But interesting, Hugo. Very, very lean design. Let's see. What will he be? We already have, he's probably gonna be another defensive type, right? Like, unless he works alongside Loki. Like, I could see him being like another Lorenzo. We already know Lorenzo was the best center back in the world. I think like the best in Gen 11 defense. But who knows? Hugo may be another one of those types. Just because one, he's sitting down, and two, we already have Charles as a facilitator who Loki was looking for. If he already had a facilitator in Hugo, I highly doubt he would rely on Charles. And obviously Loki is the offense. Like, we have a strong 3-man core here. All right, Hugo. No last name though. Interesting, just Hugo. Let's see. Totally unsuitable. All right, Hugo. Don't get clipped on. Hugo, don't get clipped on. Don't get clipped on, dog. Almost everyone gets clipped on when they talk bad about his life. Don't get clipped on. But all right. For a chapter named Cola, a very W chapter, a very W chapter. You know, I had to hit it for the one time. But let me quickly tell you why I think this is a W chapter. Obviously, you know, I appreciate the wrap-up of just Nigeria versus Japan. Even though it was a devious, crazy, next level blowout, I do appreciate that we got to see the reactions. We got to see the parents be very, very happy. Obviously, the 3 parents we see are the ones that were super involved in a way in creating the position for Japan to be in. Batra being the man, basically the man of the match, hardline confirmed by all of his just raw stats. So we get to see Batra's mama react to his assist. We get to see Isagi's parents react to his goal. That's beautiful. Then, of course, Isagi's celebration with Bachara, Corona. That's very, very nice. You know, I love my son. I love my son. That's my baby. That's my baby boy. So, you know, I'm always happy to see him included. A beautiful panel. Once again, I didn't really glaze Nomura's art so much in this chapter, but like, once again, Nomura just always cooking with it, man. Like, this is just crazy. Then, obviously, building on further and further with the Isagi and Bachara friendship. You know, I love that. You know, I love that. But that's really, really nice. The little debate I have on whether or not, like, Bachara and Isagi's goal technically counts as reflex is interesting. Do y'all know? Would it count as reflex? Because I've been wrong about stuff before, but I'm not sure whether it counts as reflex or not. Even if it does sort of banish Shiori to the gallows well before he could do anything. Sacrifices. I like seeing Raichi celebrate once again. A character who I never thought was going to make it this far. Actually making it pretty darn far. That's nice. Rin's reaction just being but not necessarily anything else, is actually kind of like character development for him, if that makes any sense. I actually do like the idea that he's like, you know what, man, you got this one. You got to end this game. You know, you're doing demonic hero. Can you like that for real? But I'll catch you up to you. I'll fry you. I do like that. You know, it's Rin being very Rin, which is, it's Rin being very Rin, but in a better Rin way, right? He's not hating. He's just like that's like the kind of reaction when you're just chalking it up to the game, you know, ball up top, if you know what I'm talking about. Then Baro and Shido, I'm glad they at least got panels. They couldn't touch the pitch, but I'm glad they at least got panels. And I kind of mentioned how I feel about them being used narratively and how I think they can still have a moment, and they're fine narratively. They aren't frauds or anything like that. Though I know, obviously, these 2 panels, especially the Shido panel, will definitely appear in the many Shido panels out of context. But even then, in context, like, once again, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't really change all too much. But still, these 2 characters, they will have their fraudulence meters raised a little bit just by never touching the pitch, but at the same time I think they're fine narratively. Aiku being able to come in and glaze Isagi is very, very nice. And I think very specifically Aiku, another Metavision user in particular, the one on the pitch who was specifically involved in the last play, going into Isagi's mindset about the planning versus the spontaneity of it, pointing out Isagi's adaptation factor and his evolution and growth is very, very important, right? Because obviously Isagi is the data farmer, he's the data miner, and Aiku is another data miner. So having him, a fellow data miner, look at Isagi, the data miner supreme, and be like, oh no, oh, he's actually different, and he can devour Ego's entire plan. Once again, it builds into the idea of Ego possibly being transcended by Isagi narratively, either by the end of this arc or sometime soon, and on top of that, it builds up the idea of why Isagi is still special amongst the talented learners, right? He doesn't just have a unique Metavision pattern for no reason, and obviously he's the main character, but very specifically, he has these levels to him that are just like, ticks above what others have to offer, and Aiku sort of acts as the base for that, which I do like. Nigeria, them getting sunned is really, really sad, but I do like their sadness. I do like their fear. I do like their understanding that ultimately this loss was necessary, the shattering of their world. And even though Naz is the one that most clearly come to that and declare the idea that he's going to surpass them one day, I like Bello and Bello and Kuso and Obobana's reactions are more like shock and a little bit of disappointment because they're in a different headspace. And I think it's important to see the variety of headspaces, right? If they were all just like, yeah, we're going to surpass you together, that would kind of defeat the whole point. Onazi being able to break free of them and very specifically identify himself as his own and not his team, and being able to be like, I'm going to surpass you one day. Even though we reading Blue, no, that's never going to happen. It is still nice to see him achieve that point of determination and being willing to put his fist forward and fight for his own future in a way. Whether these characters will ever show up again, but still, I do like that. Then, of course, you know I love the new Gen of World 11 cameo. All we literally all we needed now was a Lorenzo kit. I don't like myself out there. All we literally need now is a Lorenzo cameo. But I don't think Lorenzo's playing in the U20, is he? Is he in the groups? I have no idea if Lorenzo's playing, but that may be the only reason why we didn't get to see him, because everyone else here is going to be involved in the U20 match. Obviously, the France team is going to be the very next match that we follow, but seeing all the Ninja World 11 members is fantastic. Like I mentioned earlier, Kaiser's still being a relevant part of the narrative and still having a very passionate feeling for Isagi. Chef's kiss, I love that. Then I like seeing Sei. We kind of do need to keep narratively glazing, and we got to keep reminding us as readers, like, yeah, Sei's like that. He still stands above. He's still definitely going to be a crazy addition to the team once we get him. Especially considering how competent Blood looked already without Sei, we do kind of need to remind ourselves as readers, and kind of Sure Sensei needs to remind us, hey, he's still cracked. He hasn't done much yet, but he's going to cook. So I do think this is important. Bunny, once again, getting foreshadowing and build up, and very silly his build up into his dynamic with Isagi, I think is important. Like I mentioned, I don't think we're going to see him for a long time. I highly doubt we're even going to see much of his games. Like, he's not even included in our group stage right now. So I highly doubt we're going to see him that often. So sprinkling him here and about everywhere, and once again, hinting at this tragic backstory with the scars he's covered in, I'm down with it. I think it's good. I think it'll be exciting to see him eventually, though I don't think we're going to see him for a while. And then obviously ending with France. They're going to be our next match. Seeing Loki's determination and connection to Isagi is good. Obviously hinting at the Shido involvement with a Charles versus Shido matchup. That's going to be interesting to see. And introducing another New Gen 111 member. We are now standing at 6 introduced and meeting Hyuga. Overall, just a really, really good chapter. Really, really solid work by Kaneshiro Sensei and Nomura Sensei. So overall, if you've been all the way to the end of this video, please leave 6 out of 11. 6 out of 11 in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you can have a picture down below. Use me for as low as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. So now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions to other series I happen to review, ad variations of all my videos, early access to all my videos, and I'm talking early. Like sometimes videos get posted like 4 days before they go up. Sometimes, like, there are videos for the second channel that get early posted that have been up for, like, weeks in advance. There's, like, a video that's going to be up by, like, 4 weeks by the time it actually goes public. On the second channel, that got the reaction, which will be linked in the description down below. If you want more pencil content, I drop reaction videos that are, like, up to an hour long and beyond. You know me. It's, like, every Saturday at 1 p.m. EST. So there's also that going to be linked in the description. I'll cover Blue Lock over there as well. Once again, I'm kind of just currently on a JJK kick because that's a lot of my backlog right now for things I need to react to. And on top of that, if you also become a member, you get access to your name at the end of literally every single video. If you are a $3 member or higher, $3 patron or higher as well, but on Bing Boom, you get your name read aloud at the end of every single video as well, not just listed. And there we go. There's all that. I think I plugged the reaction channel. And obviously, if you just want to drop 5 beans for a short video or 25 beans for a long video for the one time, the Ko-Fi is also in the description down below. But now that I've plugged everything, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Gyomi, Pura Ura, Enzo, Swift Strike, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo2404, Striker Man, Grim, Straw, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Ramondo Furen, Dino, Axis XZ, Plant Crone, Pickle, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, P-Sub, Black Sage, Zapro, Tim Thomas, Alex Kenny, Kaving, Julian Perez, H-Soe, Aqualade Bamatunde, Union I, RXN, Nevis97, Sheesh King, Logan Guzman, Karina Hernandez, Window Life, Dead Meme, Karudir, and Reina. Then I'd like to give a thank you to Art Line Art Tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Dread Zoan, and Norgazi Adasov. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink Tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06. And I'd like to give a thank you to our Digital Art Tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our Colored Art Tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walking Munoz.